Hi everyone, welcome back to SQL placement series. In the previous video, we learnt about SQL functions, including single row function and multi-row function. Now we are going to learn how to use those functions with group by clause, which is very important topic in SQL, especially for interviews. And guys, if you have not watched the previous video, I strongly recommend you to go back, watch that video first and then come back here because group by clause will make you much more sense after that. So without wasting any time, let's start today's topic, that is the group by clause. Okay, before I explain the group by clause, let us first look into a simple situation. Guys, you see a student table here. It contains 4 columns, that is student ID, student name, course as well as marks. Now suppose I want the number of students enrolled in each course. Guys, not total number of students, I want count of students course wise. That is, the output should be like this. This table clearly shows 3 students enrolled to Java as well as 3 students enrolled to Python. And how do we get this output? First, let us see this logically, how to get this output. We know that this output is not showing individual student details. Instead, it's showing a summary data. We first group the students based on course and then we count how many students are there in each group. Now we will write a query using a select clause without group by clause, and we will get to know why this does not work using only select clause alone. That is, select course from student. Guys, this query fetches data row by row, shows duplicate names, and it does not even count anything. And finally, this does not match our required output. And guys, what is our requirement? We don't want individual student rows. We want students grouped by course, and then we want to count students in each group. And this grouping logic is not possible with select clause alone. And to convert this row wise data into group wise data, SQL needs something called group by clause. And guys, this is very important. Whenever you see course wise, department wise, category wise, each department, each course in a question, then use group by clause in your query because select alone is not enough. Now we will understand how SQL does that grouping using group by clause. First, we will see this query using group by clause. Guys, this is just an example query, so I can make you understand group by clause. Select department number, count asterisk. This is like show me the department number and total count of people in it. From EMP. This means it will look at the employee table to find this information. Group by department number. This put everyone who has the same department number into the same group. In simple words, I can say that it will go through the employee list, group everyone by their department and tells how many employees are in each department. And guys, the order of execution is from EMP, then group by department number, and at last select department number, comma, count asterisk. And guys, group by clause is used to group the records and it executes row by row. In simple words, I can say that when we want group wise output instead of row wise output, we use the group by clause. And guys, SQL does not create groups immediately. It first reads the table one row at a time, just like normal SQL select query. After execution of group by clause, we get groups. That is, after SQL reads all the rows, then based on the column we mention in the group by, it start forming groups. For example, if we write group by department number, all employees with the same department number are placed into one group. So groups are created after reading rows, not before. Any clause that executes after group by works group by group. That is, once groups are formed, any clause that executes after group by will work group by group, not row by row. For example, select count asterisk will not count rows individually. It will count each group as one unit. So you must remember this, guys. Before group by clause, row wise execution, and after group by clause, group wise execution. The grouping column can be used in select clause. That is, the column which we use in group by clause can be written inside select clause also. Here we are grouping department wise. Since we are grouping, we use department number in group by clause, and also we have to write the same column in select clause. Group by clause can be used with or without where clause. That is, if you want to filter the rows before grouping, use where clause, guys. And if you want to group all the rows, then you can skip where clause. And also, guys, this is very important. Please listen carefully. Where clause filter the rows in the table, whereas group by clause groups the remaining rows in the table. Now we will see the syntax and order of execution of a query which has group by clause. In the select clause, we can write grouping column and grouping function like count, sum, average, etc. And guys, here we cannot write normal columns unless they are a part of group by clause. Here in the select clause, department number is a grouping column and sum of sal is a group function. That's why both are allowed in select clause. And we cannot write other columns like ename here because it is not written inside group by clause. From clause tells SQL from which table the data should be taken, and this is always the starting point of query execution. Here from EMP means the data is taken from EMP table. Where clause is optional. If we use where, it filters rows before grouping. So where always works on individual rows, not on groups. So guys, please understand this. Where filters the rows, not groups. Here, where sal greater than 2000 is a filter condition. It removes employees whose salary is less than or equal to 2000, and where always works on individual rows. Group by clause is used to combine rows having the same values into a single group. And guys, remember, you have to write the same column name both in group by as well as in select clause. Here, group by department number means employees having the same department number are combined into a single group. Now aggregate function like sum works on each group separately. Here aggregate function means multi-row function, guys. Now we will see the order of execution. First, SQL executes from clause. That means SQL brings the entire table first. Next, where clause will be executed. It executes row by row. Each row is checked against a condition. If a row satisfies the condition, it is kept. Otherwise, it is removed. And guys, where does not know anything about groups. After filtering the rows, group by clause executes. Group by also works row by row initially and then forms groups based on given column. And this is the point where rows becomes groups. Finally, select clause executes. But now select works group by group, not row by row. That is why aggregate function works here. Guys, aggregate function means multi-row functions. So in this video, we clearly understood what is group by clause and its syntax, and most importantly, the order of execution. This part is very important because without understanding execution order, group by queries will always feel confusing. In the next video, we will take the real table and we will write actual group by queries. I will show you department wise data, how rows are grouped, and how SQL executes the query step by step. We will also see how exactly certain columns are allowed in select clause and how aggregate function works on each department. So guys, if this video helped you, do like the video, share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel for more SQL placement concepts. I will see you in the next video. Happy learning.